Have you ever followed a curly hair tutorial only to end up with a big frizzy mess? It's not just you. It's the unrealistic standards that are being pushed to us online. Many curly hair influencers showcase their perfect curls and make it seem like their method, or maybe a specific method, one method, is the only way to achieve these perfect curls. But really, this is all very misleading because not all curly hair is the same, and there are many types of curly hair that are not well represented online. So let's break this down and I'll give you some tips on what you can do to actually improve your curls. So first, let's talk about that perfect curl standard. If you go through popular curly hair tutorials and videos, you will see that there is a certain curl type that is really idolized and pushed on us that seems to do really well in content. And it's the hair type that they all seem to have in common. They have thick curls, they're shiny, they're usually around a 3A, 3B curl type, curl pattern. Their curls are very well defined and they look moisturized. And it's just overall like a perfect head of curly hair. Not one curl is out of place. But this is just not realistic for most people with curly hair. Remember that this is their job. Their job is literally to sell you the idea of achieving hair that looks like theirs so that you can buy the products that they're pushing, consume their content by following their tips and tricks, and show you something that is pretty much not achievable to keep you coming back for more. Now, I'm not saying this is the case with all curly hair influencers. It's kind of a generalization of the influencer industry specifically to curly hair. There's definitely some good ones out there that are putting out really good content. So don't mistake that and think that I am talking bad about every single one that's out there. I'm really mostly talking about influencers on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. YouTube has slightly better content. So back to influencers' perfect curls. Remember that because this is their job, their hair is made to look perfect by lots of manipulation, lots of experience, lots of product, hours of work, years of working with their hair to know what works, editing of the videos and photos, and lots of refreshing and other hacks that just make their hair look better. Like for example, me right now, all of my hair is pushed forward to make it look nice and full. My hair is really not that full. It just doesn't look as good on camera as if I pushed it all forward, and it looks a little bit fuller and bigger, and the data, my analytics show that that's what people want to see. So social media algorithms prioritize this type of content of that perfect look, something that is unachievable because it's something that you can't actually get, so you continue to consume that content. So what happens is people who don't have this curl type, which is pretty much most people, feel like they're doing something wrong with their hair because it doesn't look like the influencer's curls. So here are some things you can do to not fall into this trap. One thing you could do is, if you don't want to totally get off social media, follow influencers with diverse hair types. So follow a variety of influencers that have high density, low density, different porosities, different curl patterns from looser to tighter curl patterns, and just that struggle with different things. Some people's curly hair really struggles with moisture, and some people's curly hair really struggles with being weighed down. So those two people are going to use vastly different products and techniques because their curly hair needs completely different things. If you are only consuming content on one specific type of curly hair, every single thing you watch is kind of reinforcing that same idea, but your hair probably doesn't fall into that category. So you start to believe that these are things that you need, but it is not correct for you. When you see a variety of different things, then you start to see that there are options and there isn't one way only, and you can try different things from different hair types and see what works for you. Keep in mind that filters, lighting, editing, all that stuff makes the hair look a little better on camera. I've said it before, my hair always looks frizz-free on camera, but in person it's not. There's like filters that cameras automatically have. It's not something that I add when I'm editing, like it's just my camera. And it just makes your skin and hair look more flattering. So remember that online videos, pictures are very deceiving. Another thing you can do is focus on your hair's natural shape instead of trying to force it to look like a certain curl pattern. I know that people love type 3A, 3B curls, but most people don't have that curl pattern. It's okay if you have a wavier, looser curl pattern. Those are just as beautiful, and you can just try to improve the health of your curls if you are not achieving that ideal perfect curl pattern. Now let's talk about generalized routines and these kind of one-size-fits-all routines that a lot of influencers push. A lot of the routines that I see online are very similar. They usually involve a lot of product, a lot of moisture, a lot of water, and they're pretty lengthy routines that really focus on hydrating and defining the hair to get that really frizz-free defined look. However, not super realistic, and not every curl type can handle that. My hair certainly cannot handle that. Finer, looser wave patterns, low porosity hair, lower density hair, these types are going to require a lot less product than other hair types. Thick, coarse curls, dry curls, high porosity curls, those are going to require a lot more moisture and moisturizing products like creams than other hair types. The porosity of your hair can also make a difference in how much product your hair absorbs and will determine how much product you can use and how much moisture you need in your products. So somebody with high porosity hair will have vastly different needs than somebody with low porosity hair. And these are things you can't necessarily see, right? You can't look at my hair and see what porosity my hair is. But knowing that as you consume my content and my tips and tricks on what works for me is really helpful, because maybe your porosity is completely different from mine. And that means that the things that I do are not going to work for you. And this is why these holy grail recommendations for products that like, this is the one product that everybody needs, don't really work. While you can say something with a category like everybody needs a shampoo or everybody needs a gel, generally that's fine. But to say like this specific gel is amazing for every single curly hair type, it's just ignoring the different needs that hair types have. Here's what you can do instead. Understand your specific hair type. So let's talk about that. You want to identify the characteristics of your hair. Things like the texture, the porosity, the density, how it's affected by the weather, especially in the climate that you live in, whether it is healthy, damaged, dry, understanding how it reacts to different styling techniques and different product types. And all of this is done by paying very close attention to your hair. So as you are trying different products and different techniques, you really are focusing on how your hair feels. You're keeping maybe a log of what you're doing and what results come out. I mean, this is really helpful if you're totally lost. If not, you don't need all that, but a log can really help you pinpoint what the problem is. And you can take the curly hair type quiz that's on my website. I will link it in the description below. Just answer a couple of questions and it will give you a general idea of your porosity, texture, density, and a couple of other things, and guide you towards the right types of products to use on your hair type. Once you have all of that figured out, then you want to experiment with different things according to the theories you've created about your hair. Don't follow any strict rules. Don't follow influencer routines step by step. If you see a routine, their hair came out good, look at it objectively and say, okay, what can I apply to my hair that would work? If, for example, you have hair like mine that is very easily weighed down and you see a routine that incorporates 3 styling products, maybe like a leave-in conditioner or a curl cream, a gel, and a mousse, you can say, okay, maybe I'll try this, but I'm just gonna use a leave-in conditioner and a gel. I won't do 3 products, I'll do 2 products only. So be more objective about it and tweaking it and making it fit better for your hair type. Also, the idea of just testing something, just because it works great for somebody, even if their hair is just like yours, there's still slight differences that you may not be aware of. So just test things and see, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But don't watch something and come away from it thinking, oh, this is the fix that I needed, because you're probably gonna be disappointed. It's also helpful to look for influencers who explain the science behind why certain products work. And not just them telling you, this is my routine, this is what works for me, but understanding the why is really helpful. It can help you uncover the product types and techniques that would work best for your hair. You can also learn more about the science of hair care, not from any curly haired people, just in general. There's a lot of educational content creators on YouTube and social media that are teaching specifically about hair care science. It's not specific to a type of hair, but it really helps you in understanding different products and really helps you read through the marketing and see that a lot of the products these companies are selling us are really nothing new. It's more of the same, just packaged and sold to us by a different name. Now, I mentioned earlier to follow a variety of influencers with different curl types, but it's also really helpful to follow people who have hair like yours. That can be a source of inspiration, and also it's very relatable to see the things that they struggle with, and you can maybe identify some of those similar struggles. I know I hear that stuff all the time in the comments of my videos and my blog posts, because I have fine hair that is low density and low porosity, and so I really struggle with buildup and everything weighing down my hair. And that's not very common in the curly hair world. I cannot use more than 1 or 2 max styling products in my hair. I cannot use deep conditioners. I cannot use any creams, nothing moisturizing like that. All of that stuff just really weighs down my hair and loosens my curl pattern. And so talking about that, people can relate to it and realize that, oh, hey, that's something that I struggle with too, and I hadn't really thought about it. Maybe I don't need this product. Be skeptical of viral trends. I know I'm always skeptical of viral stuff, but it's helpful to be skeptical because usually it's too good to be true. Like they say, not everything works on every curly hair type. So yeah, maybe this works for this person, but that doesn't necessarily mean it can be applied to everybody with that hair type. And the last thing I really want to highlight is that it is okay for your hair not to look like the ones online. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, influencers' job is to have beautiful hair to get your attention, and they spend a lot of time and money on their hair, but that's not the case for most people. So your hair is not going to look like their hair. You don't necessarily have the same resources that they have and have invested the same amount of time in your hair. Keep in mind, there are so many different types of curls. There's looser patterns, there's thin curls, thick curls. Some curl types are not even shiny. That's a big one. Sometimes people are like, I just want my hair to shine, but not all textures shine. So there's a variety of hair types and all of them are beautiful in their own way. So you really just have to accept your hair type and work with it to enhance it and not try to force it to be something that it is not. That's really the main takeaway I want you to take from this video. Okay, so let's wrap it all up. Now, curly influencers and the curly girl method movement has really grown the curly hair community, and that's a great thing. We have a lot of people now who are no longer fighting against their hair texture and they're embracing it. But that has pushed one ideal curl type, which is frustrating for a lot of people. So whether your hair is curly, frizzy, loose, wavy, it doesn't matter. Remember that it is beautiful. You just need to learn what works for your hair type instead of chasing someone else's hair results. So let me know in the comments if you feel like your curl type is not well represented in the curly hair community and you've been a little bit misled by the curly hair content. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to hear more about my thoughts on how curly hair influencers have totally ruined curly hair care, then watch this video next. It's called 5 Things Curly Hair Influencers Have Brainwashed Us Into Thinking Are Normal, But Are Not.